Ah! What was that for? Hulk smash! Ah, this is no good. I need a better way to relive my superhero youth. I don't need toys, I need games. Like, what kind of games did I play back then? I know, this looks like a job for the top 5 superhero games of the 90s.
Number 5.
First on the list we have Revenge of Shinobi. What's that you say? It's not a superhero game? Well, I suppose not technically, but it does have one of my favourite uses of superheroes, because for some unknown reason, the developers decided, hey, let's just put Spider-Man in our game as a boss. Doesn't make much sense, but okay. But wait, there's more. Halfway through fighting Spider-Man, he gets angry and turns into Batman. What? Why? Doesn't make any sense. In later releases of the game, Batman was changed to some kind of weird devil guy that flies in after Spider-Man leaves, but Spider-Man was allowed to stay. Oh yeah, also, you get to fight the Terminator and Godzilla. This game rocks.
Number 4.
At number 4, it's Justice League Task Force. Now, I was never really a fan of fighting games in general, they just never really held my interest for any length of time. And there's plenty of other superhero fighting games that are probably technically better than this game, but this game is on this list for only one reason. Batman vs Superman. Sure, you can play as plenty of other characters in the game, and even fight in space, but Batman vs Superman is the classic matchup we all want to see. And if you were living in the early 90s and didn't want to wait 20 years for the sequel to Man of Steel that's going to come out next year or whenever it is, this is where you had to go. The only bad thing about the game is that you can't be Green Lantern. I mean, but you can be Green Arrow. Who thought that was a good decision? Also, as you can tell by most of the footage you can see here, I'm not really very good at this game.
Number 3.
In at number 3 we have one of the standout games back on the Sega Mega Drive, SpiderMan vs Kingpin. I had a lot of fun with this game. It was the first time you really got to act out all the powers of a superhero. You could stick to walls, fire webbing at bad guys, and even swing around on Spidey's trademark webs. You got to save old ladies, punch policemen, and kick rats. Of course, this isn't really the Spidey superhero style, so you also get to fight Doc Ock, the Lizard, Electro, and plenty of other henchmen around the place. It's a pretty fun game, and definitely one I'd recommend for any Mega Drive or Genesis lovers out there. But probably not for the Gorilla lovers.
Number 2.
In at number 2, it's another classic from the Mega Drive era, XMen II. You got to play the game as 6 different X-Men, but the strange thing was, every time you started the game, a random character was picked for you. A strange way to start it, but interesting anyway. But once you got past the first level, you then got to take your pick, and who wouldn't immediately go for Wolverine? Unlike earlier X-Men games, you didn't have any kind of energy bar limiting how much you could use your mutant powers. You could go as crazy as you want. You could just slash around as Wolverine, fire your cyclops laser beam, teleport around to places Nightcrawler. It was awesome. The controls were really tight, and it felt great running around this world. For me, this was one of the highlights of the side-scrolling action genre on the Mega Drive. The bosses were fun, and each character felt different, as if they weren't just picked for popularity, but for how they would actually play in the game.
Number 1.
So here it is, my favourite superhero game of the 90s. Wait, Superman 64? Who the hell put this on the list? It's a terrible game.
Number 1.
Okay, so my actual number 1 superhero game of the 90s is Spider-Man on the PlayStation. Yeah, this is just a Spider-Man comic on the PlayStation. I don't have the box, what am I supposed to do? This game was the first time you ever had the ability to swing around a 3D city as Spidey. Sure, with the limitations of the original PlayStation, you couldn't swing down to the ground exactly. You were kind of limited to only the tops of New York skyscrapers. But this was explained away in the story as a poisonous gas, so you know, you don't really have to worry about it. Just like in Spider-Man vs Kingpin, you fight some of Spidey's classic villains, but this time that also includes Rhino, Venom, Mysterio, Doc Ock, Carnage, and some kind of crazy monster Doc Ock weird thing.
Place is gonna blow. I gotta get out of here.
You get to unlock loads of alternate costumes for Spidey, just for swinging around the city, and some even give you special abilities. The game also really manages to nail the classic Spidey sense of humour.
Parker hates it when I get the drop on him.
hate it when he gets the drop on me.
And Stan Lee, the creator of Spider-Man and so many of the greatest superheroes out there, even provides an awesome voiceover for the game.
Welcome, true believers and newcomers alike. Spider-Man co-creator Stan Lee here.
For a PlayStation 1 game, this is by far one of the best of its time, and the gameplay is still great. I mean, sure, the technology has come on since then, but it'll never recapture the first time you went web swinging across New York City.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man.